I'm talking about for just most views.
Give me a second. You're on.
Okay. Thank Cal.
3 games of the week. Who you got the 3 games of the week?
Well, you got the Eagles Falcons game. You got the Cowboys Panthers. There's 2 right there.
Yeah. Also, the early games too. I don't know who.
What do you think about the Giants and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
That ought to be a good game.
Because you got to think about it. Jalen Ramsey has never faced Odell because Odell was hurt last year.
I tell you.
Jacksonville got a good defense. That'd be good.
I don't know because Jacksonville's offense. They're running.
Well, they only got one thing.
That's an interesting game.
And then what do you think about the Steelers and the Browns?
Some people think the Browns to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think so.
Because the Steelers' defense is not that good.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Check.
Here's an article for this weekend. My top 32 teams, ranked them all in order. NFL predictions, and these are this week's games.
Who do you think the top 3 is?
Teams?
Top 3 games. You circle.
Oh, for the NFL?
Currently at the Big Old Country Studios, it's 3:58.
For performance you can count on, it's a Bush Hog from West End Sales in Vail. Trust in a Bush Hog, a company whose name has become synonymous with the task.
No.
That's performance.
That's the best game.
Reputation.
2 best
That's
teams.
a Bush Hog.
No.
Celebrating 67 years.
Dots of
Cut it down for
watched.
0% special retail
That's what I said,
financing
Steelers.
for 36
What about
months
Giants and
on
Jacksonville?
select
That was
Bush
about
Hog
to be my
equipment.
4th one on the
Built
list,
Bush
I
Hog
think.
tough. And
That's
for
going to be the 2
performance
best
you can
teams.
count on,
Those are going to be
it's
the most
Bush
watched.
Hog. From Western
got
Sales,
the Texans
Highway
and
80
Patriots.
North, and Highway 27 West intersection in
Texans
Vegas.
got defense. Their secondary isn't suspect. Texans. He's going to get rid of the ball in 3 seconds. It don't matter. I mean, nobody's going to stop Jerome.
Alright, you guys. Alright, see ya.
See ya.
Hi, I'm Warren Moss. When you're buying or selling a home, call the professionals at Moss Realty or visit mossrealty.com. Moss Realty, your hometown specialist.
Welcome out to the best in sports right here on a Wednesday. Tim Johnson, Mr. Baseball himself, Kenny Link, and we have Ken's. Ken, how do we describe this guy in the studio with us?
Well, it's a very informed sports fan. Addison Johnson. He knows a lot about basketball. He knows a lot about football.
So we're going to turn him loose here today.
Oh, sure.
I'm not feeling. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, so I'm going to let you 2 boys go at it today. Live and hard here today.
Well, we'll
WCSL.
appreciate that, but I doubt you'll sit back quietly when we talk about that Panthers-Cowboys match.
Oh,
We'll
man.
pick up the slack.
Yeah, we're excited for that. 92.3 FM on the FM station, and also on WCSL. You can catch us on the 1590 AM station as well. Tim Johnson, Ken Link, Addison Johnson. We're live here today in the studio. Ken, we're going to start things off with some college football here today. The college football season got underway this past week, and the top teams, Alabama and Clemson, they all won big.
Yeah, Georgia, those are the top 3 teams, and they didn't have any trouble the first week. Although Coach Saban, after the big win by Alabama, he got a little testy against one of the female reporters that asked him a question about his quarterback situation.
What did she say wrong?
Nothing.
I mean,
He's just tired of the question.
He just tired of the question. She just asked him about the 2 quarterbacks, and he said, "Well, when are y'all going to stop asking questions, trying to get me to say something?"
Trying to make a feud out of this.
Yeah, say something bad about one of them. I mean, she wasn't trying to do that. I mean, it was legit. He apologized later, but he got a little testy there.
Yeah, I saw the interview, and all of a sudden he just he was real nice about it. All of a sudden, bam, he went defensive in a hurry.
Hey, he's the one that played 2 quarterbacks.
You're
He
right.
can expect that kind of question.
Absolutely, and 2 really good quarterbacks
Yeah,
too.
that's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. All right, Ken, App State. Wow, what about Appalachian State, Ken? Goes up to Penn State and almost wins in overtime. 45-38, Penn State comes away with an overtime win, Ken. And actually, we saw the Denver Brewer, who played, who actually works for First Federal, Lincoln in Savings Along in Lincoln. Also, Denver, big football fan of App State, also played there, Ken, defensive end. He was telling us, he said, hey, guys, had a lot of family members went up there to Happy Valley. And Penn State, I'm telling you, great football program.
And they were behind.
Yes.
One in the 4th quarter, scored several touchdowns, and actually went up 31-17 to 24. Penn State scored late to force the overtime, and in overtime each one of them scored, and then Penn State scored, and then App State tried to match that and had a pass intercepted, so they end up losing 45-38 in overtime.
You got to take your head off to Appalachian State. And somebody said that the quarterback from Appalachian State outplayed the Heisman candidate for Penn State.
He had more yardage, and he lit them up that fourth quarter. He really did. So, I mean,
he came to play, that's for sure.
Yeah, so great performance by App State. Like you say, almost shocked the football world again. Two surprising scores, a couple upsets as far as the nature of the score. LSU blew out Miami. Now, Miami is ranked higher than LSU, and LSU just blew them away. And Virginia Tech went down to Tallahassee and jumped on Florida State 24-3. Their defense forced 5 turnovers.
Ken, here's the question of the day to me, I think. Is Mark Richt, the head coach for Miami, is he an elite coach? I'm going to say no. He was at Georgia for so many years, Ken. What a great program Georgia is. And Smart, who just came in there the last couple of years, have already taken them to a national championship, got runner-up last year against Alabama. And so now Mark Richt, who left Georgia to go to Miami Hurricanes, Ken, I'm starting to think, Ken, he's not an elite coach like everybody thought he was.
He's not tearing up not doing as well in the ACC as I think some folks thought he would.
Right.
Put it that way, but
it'll definitely tell later on in the season. See if he comes back and see what happens after this.
Virginia Tech, they got a bunch of young guys on defense. Folks thought they might be a year away, but unfortunately not. They dominated that game. 3 points. Florida State, a program like that can only put 3 points on the board playing at home. A very impressive win for Virginia Tech, and I saw this morning that they're now ranked 12th in the country, and deserving so, Virginia Tech.
We talked about that last weekend about Florida State. Who were some of the teams in the ACC going to step up? We named State. We also named Florida State. And we even said Miami, too. But, of course, you got Clemson at the top of the bunch there. But, I'm like you, Ken. You got Clemson, Virginia Tech, and NC State. To me, I see 3 top-tier teams in the ACC. Florida State for years have always been dominating. But they lost a very good coach. He left this past year, and he's at Texas Tech now. So that ought to be really, really interesting to see how Florida State comes off that big loss at home, like you said, 24-3 to Virginia Tech, which is a really good program, really good football program.
Not knocking Virginia Tech, but you know who plays there for Virginia Tech? Maiden's old quarterback, Caleb Farley.
Yes.
Is he healthy enough to play this year? I know he had a serious knee injury, but I didn't know whether he's playing.
He played some in the last game.
Oh,
did he really?
He played some in the last game.
Where's he playing? Is he wide receiver?
I don't know, but it looks like he's playing defense. I think he got playing quarterback or something.
Well, we know he can run. Can't tell right here.
He's very athletic. He can play cornerback.
Oh, man. Tremendous speed.
Well,
I still
you
got
can ask Lincoln High School that.
nightmares of him going for over 300 yards and just everybody chasing him,
Yeah, I mean that was impressive right there. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, Caleb. You give some information on that when you get a chance at, so let us know a little bit how he's doing up there and a little bit where he's playing it, especially.
The Big 4 ACC team did well, except my Carolina Tar Heels. Wake Forest won 24-17 in overtime, Tim. And Lincoln's Sage Surratt, 11 catches for 150 yards and was chosen ACC Rookie of the Week.
That kid's pretty good, ain't he, Ken? We
Pretty
saw him firsthand, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, Addison,
86 yards first half.
Yeah, Addison played basketball all his 4 years against Sage in high school. What an outstanding athlete he is. His brother, too. But, like you said about Carolina, they didn't do so well. His brother's at Carolina. Maybe they need to get his brother over.
Well, I was just gonna say, little brother little brother making headlines.
He didn't miss a beat, did he?
Big brother's not making them headlines in ACC right now. We know Chaz Surratt is out because of a 4-game suspension due to selling of shoes that were issued by the team, and the quarterback for UNC, Nathan Miller. No, it's Elliott. Anyway, Nathan Elliott, the quarterback for UNC, had 4 interceptions in the first game against Cal. First half, Tim, UNC had 38 yards total offense. It's like somebody said, did they even practice coming into that game? Unbelievable. I mean, you talk about NL, 38 yards of total offense.
Well, Ken, I tell you, I was listening to the Carolina show, Larry Fedora, last night on KTC Broadcasting, and I tell you, Ken, from listening to his interview, he has no intentions at all. You're right, no intentions at all to bring Chaz in to start quarterback.
Well, he
I understand that.
Well, he can say that now because there's no other choice right now. Chaz can't come in and play because he's out. He's gonna try to be positive about his quarterback and how he's gonna improve and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that as a coach. Bottom line is, if they lose these first 4 games and he still looks horrible at quarterback, Fedora's got to make a change.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, they got to make a change.
I mean, they're not just fighting for the season, but some people are fighting for the jobs on that.
Oh, he'll be fighting for his job.
Yeah, Fedora's we've won fighting for a job.
Just like the Browns and their hard knocks, you know. They said the coaching staff, Hugh Jackson, said that, we're going to make y'all earn your stripes. Well, Pat McAfee on the Barstool Sports, he said, well, why don't we make him earn his paycheck this week? Which I thought was funny.
Well,
So it's saying here, the stats-wise, Caleb Farley had 2 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 interceptions against Florida State.
Oh, my goodness. So he had 2 of the turnovers they forced. Oh, wow.
The only reason I got that was because he posted something on Instagram, and he said, Frazier 0-1.
How about that?
Because he just beat Florida State. So that's great job. He's starting defensive back.
How about that? Well,
congratulations, the Maidens, Caleb Farley.
Yeah, great player.
Great player. We knew he had the D1 talent when we saw him play.
No doubt about that. Kenny, your UNC Tar Heels. Tell me a little bit about how do you think the season's going to go? How do you foresee? I know you've been keeping up a little bit with what's going on.
Let's put it this way: they were not looking. Season was looking pretty dim even before the suspensions that included Chaz. So I think it's going to be a very long season. Now they play East Carolina, ECU this weekend. Now the ECU haven't been playing that well. If they lose to ECU, it's going to be a bad season. It's going to be a really bad season.
Well, my NC State Wolfpack come away with the win, Kenny.
They did. It was wasn't a really impressive one, but they won, and they played Georgia State.
Darren Roseboro, look him up.
This week they play Georgia State, and so that'll be their second game. They're not playing any heavyweights, but State has a good team. Lost a tremendous amount of talent off that defensive front, but Darren Roseboro, a kid we know from Lincoln High School, is a senior there, and he is starting on that defensive line, and I think is going to be one of the leaders on that defense this year.
Addison's looking up some stats from this past week for Darian. We're going to see how Darian did this past week. We know what Sage did. We know what Caleb Farley did. So trying to look up some stats for Darian.
UNC, this is my thoughts on UNC. I'm looking forward to basketball season. That's all I got to say.
Luke's senior year.
I'm looking forward to basketball.
Now, Ken, Clemson, who did Clemson play this past week?
Clemson, they played Furman, wasn't it?
Furman? Okay. All right. Well,
Trevor Lawrence
that's a warm-up game.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looked really good in that game, by the way.
That's a warm-up game right there for you. And, of course, the big news for this weekend is the opening of the NFL season. Panthers and Cowboys, we're going to have a lot of that game preview and analysis coming up a little bit later on the show, so I want to tell everybody to hang tight. What you got on NC State that are asking Darian Roseboro?
Darian had 4 tackles.
Darian had 4 tackles?
Yeah.
Okay. So he didn't have any sacks or anything like that?
No, I mean, what was the score to the game? What was the final score of the game?
I think it's like 24-13 or something like that.
Check it out.
I'm just making sure you played the whole game or not.
Yeah, check see if you get a score. Yeah.
They wasn't a blowout.
It wasn't a blowout, yeah. I think State didn't play as well as they should have.
No, this is senior year though, but we'll see how he goes this year.
Yeah, I mean, they projected that he will be drafted by somebody. We'll see what kind of year he has this year and see how high he'll go in the draft. So.
All righty, folks, you listen to WCSL right here at KTC Broadcasting at the Class of 4 Studios. Tim Johnson, Kenny Link, Mr. Baseball, and Addison Johnson. We're live here today, so we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back after these fine messages from our sponsors here on 92.3 FM and 1590 AM.
Speaking of Georgia, Justin Fields.
WCSL Cherryville.
KC Broadcast is 10
1,000 points for every night you stay at the Hampton Inn. It's part of the Hampton Inn's Grand Nights promotion. Your points will add up to unforgettable experiences.
I don't know.
Like visiting
If you want to call back, I tell you what, sir, if you'll call back in the morning, I'd call back and say after 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they can give you more information. Nobody's here right now except just our radio people, that's all. So if you call back in the morning, they can help you out, sir.
With a call to Gates Pool and
Thank you
Spa
too,
in
buddy.
Gastonia. Right now, you can get low financing with approved credit on your new pool. Also good
Justin
on
Fields did
above
really
ground
good.
and in-ground
Georgia's
pools.
quarterback. He was the number one dual threat quarterback in the nation coming out of high school. Trevor Childers was the number one quarterback, but dual threat. Justin Fields was that. Hey, he plays baseball too. He could have got drafted. He's really good at baseball. Shortstop.
Open 7 days.
What's his name?
Justin Fields.
Get your muscadines and scuppernongs now at Rosedale
So we're going to open up with the
Farms in
Panthers and
Kingstown. They're sweet and delicious.
What do you want to do, Ken?
Rosedale Farms in Kingstown.
How do you want to do it?
You want to start off talking about Eagles and the Falcons?
Yeah, let's talk about the other NFL and we'll get back to the Panthers.
That's going to be a long segment anyway.
Jams and jellies and even pickled okra.
Sounds
Monday through Friday.
Who's injured? Is anybody injured for the Eagles?
Well, I don't know whether Wentz is going to play. He's still down.
Well, no, the coach was saying that, he was still kind of iffy about the quarterback situation because he is quivering because of his knee. He's not.
I read the Eagles had several injuries and the Falcons pretty much healthy.
Wentz is not playing. Falcons, I think Falcons will beat.
He don't need to play.
No, he doesn't.
They don't need him to play.
And for Dad, it's the big 3 for the ultimate cooking experience.
September 4th. Here we go. Eagles coach Doug Peterson said Carson Wentz is close to being ready. Wentz has still not been fully clear, but it sounds like that could happen any day, especially with a mini bye week following a Thursday game. So Nick Foles will start Thursday against the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out of And who's to say he'd be then you got Deshaun Watson coming off an ACL too.
We could talk some high school football. We could do the top 10 or top wherever Kevin's got here, Ken.
No, we can do that whenever you want to.
Yeah, here you go. Let's jump on high school football. Then come out. We're gonna have a long time to talk about
NFL.
NFL. Yeah. We don't have a lot of commercials
And
today.
at 224 East Warren Street in
I
Shaw.
mean, we got
There's a new Kubota for every job,
Top
every
20.
harvest, every task.
We're
From
Kevin's
zero-turn
got
mowers
right here.
to utility
Yeah,
vehicles
it's,
and
right there's the high school.
to construction equipment.
This is the
Kubota
top
fits
10
the bill.
NFL team,
Kubota
top
products
10.
are
And this ranking is based
day and
on
night. Kubota has tractors,
a lot on not only record but how many your defense.
Yeah.
How many points.
Yeah.
That's number one.
And check out their zero-turn mowers with
We talked a little bit about North Lincoln.
East Rutherford's number 2.
C-Series can handle any terrain. See the lineup today.
Yeah, they're pretty good though, but that's not.
At Highway 7.
They could-
Lincoln's number 10, baby. Move it on up. Yeah, baby. They gonna beat Lincoln. You watch out this year.
Might be a
No, I told everybody. I
might be a
said
lot of people.
I said Lincoln will figure a way out how to beat them.
They won't beat West. I don't think they will.
Lincoln will beat West. That happens every year.
They'll run the big ball.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
Bandy's number 6.
By the North Carolina High
It's
School
crazy.
Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
Play trivia every morning from 6 a.m. to 9 o'clock. Right here, Big O Country for a big game.
Here's the big news. Way down here. 18 for Chevy.
Welcome back to the best in sports. Tim Johnson, Ken Lincoln, and Addison Johnson right here in the Class of 4 studios. 92.3 on your FM dial. 1590 on the AM station. And boys, I tell you, Kenny, if I can just make it through this show.
So you'll be all right. We'll carry you through.
Yeah.
It'd be like me carrying the Panthers.
I tell you what, you
Sunday.
better get yourself better. I don't want you belling out in this big Cowboy Panther game coming up.
Yeah, folks, we're going to be live down in the press box coming up this Sunday. Covering the Carolina Panthers, we're going to get some interviews from all the Panther players and bring some of that back. Might even get an interview from Jerry Jones. What do you think, Kenny?
That's up to you.
I want to get a picture of you and him together.
I didn't know he was your favorite guy. I thought the Cowboys was, but I didn't know that he was your favorite owner.
He's the man in Dallas, Kenny. That's all I got to say.
That's Uncle Jerry.
That's it. All right, Kenny. High school football, folks. Got some news for you. Kenny, you got the top, top 20?
Yeah, based on our KTC rankings here, it's heavy flavored on defense. Let's put it that way, which I like defense, but we got number 1, Hunter Huss. Number 2, the East Ruffleton. Number 3 is Kings Mountain. We understand Kings Mountain is playing well, but they've got a couple of injuries, some key players. Number 4, Maiden. Number 5, Ashbrook, who just beat East Lincoln last week. Bandy's number 6. Stuart Kramer number 7. Crest number 8. Southport number 9. And West Lincoln number 10. Now, folks, these are based on results. So there's some teams in here that has not played really good teams and have blown them out and are undefeated. They won't be down in the top 10. As we go down in the season, we get 7, 8, 9 games. Second half, it'll change tremendously. But here's 2 teams that are very good in here. Crest, we know, is very good. Kings Mountain is very good. Southport at number 9 is very good. Those are extremely good teams. One team down here, all the way into 18 spot here in the rankings, is Shelby, who's got a 1-2 record. And they lost a close game to AC Reynolds, but this past week, they lost to Burns, and it wasn't close. It was 32-14, and one of the 2 touchdowns Shelby scored was a 99-yard kickoff return. So Shelby's struggling on offense.
It's been a long time since Burns beat Shelby, Ken.
Yes, it has.
Long
Been
time.
a while.
And I heard Dennis Davis talk about that a little bit on the radio the other night. Said, it's been years and years and years since Burns have defeated Shelby, and especially defeated Shelby in that kind of fashion, Ken.
And this week it doesn't get any easier for Shelby because they play Crest.
Yeah, that ought to be either you go to Crest or you go to Shelby. One of them two if you live in Shelby. So that ought to be a really good contest too, and that'll be on WOHS. That'll be live. And
a rival game.
Yeah, it is a rival game.
It's a rival game.
Like West Lincoln and Lincolnton.
But somebody's saying this year maybe it might not be that close a game because Crest is really playing well and Shelby is struggling offensively.
Yeah.
They're not putting it together. Now, we know Shelby's got a good defense and they've got athletes. So we'll see what happens. Shelby's coming in with a 1-2 record. They got some more tough games on their schedule in front of them. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes a program can have a little bit of down year, but as you get better, the season goes on, and they may be really tough at the end. So we'll see what happens there with that game.
So to play Crest this coming weekend, then they got Kings Mountain, Ken.
That's going to be
wow.
That's what I'm saying. Their schedule is
it don't get any better. Like you said, then you have an open week, and then they play Mount Pleasant, and then they go to Chase.
Yeah.
So
they got a couple easier games down there right now. The part of the year they're playing the tough part of their schedule.
Yeah. When have you heard the Shelby Golden Lions losing 3 games, high school football games
out
in
of
a
the
row?
first 4.
Tell me when that's happened.
I can't tell you when.
I'm telling you.
I'm sure it's happened sometime, but it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's what I'd say to you.
I'm telling you, I've never heard Shelby losing 3 high school football games in a row, Ken.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, it will be. So, interesting season. And we know 2 of the piles in the area are Crest and Kings Mountain. So, we'll see what happens you go down the road. Cherville lost their first game of the season this past week, 48-7 to West Lincoln. Cherville had won the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And West Lincoln had 2, but West Lincoln pretty much handled them. And I thought they'd win by at least a few touchdowns. West Lincoln's playing well. Of course, they haven't played a real tough schedule yet, so we'll see what happens a little bit later on.
I'm looking at West Lincoln's schedule, Ken. They played drawn the first game, then they had an open week, and then they played Cherville, and then they got Fred T. Ford. They'll beat Fred T. Ford. Yeah. So that's 3. 4 East Burke. They'll beat East Burke.
Yeah,
so you're looking at maybe possibly
a 4-0 start.
Well, it could be 5-0. They played North Lincoln, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get to North Lincoln here in a little bit, and so That'll be a real interesting game. North Lincoln and West Lincoln. West Lincoln is going to be undefeated coming into that contest. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I think they will because
they got a really good football team.
They got a good football team.
When do they play Lincoln?
They're not really playing anybody.
Week 9. Week 9 they'll have Lincoln, and it's at Lincolnton too, so that ought to be interesting too. West Lincoln, Tom Sain's got a good football team. He's got really good running backs. He's got 2 outstanding running backs. Brandon Eicher, who was the first player that won the first federal player of the week, and then you got Fansuk, who was outstanding, and so he was a player of the week last year as well, Ken. And then you got Xander Pendergrass, and you got an excellent quarterback, Seth Willis.
And it looks like their defense is really stepping up too and playing really well.
Well, one thing that West Lincoln, one of their big offseason moves was to get the defense coordinator. Who came Ponder?
Darren Ponder.
Darren Ponder. Yep.
Came from
Newton Conover. He was at Newton Conover,
but
before he was at West Lincoln.
He was from West Lincoln, and then before that, he came from where was it at?
I can't remember.
Burns. He came
Burns.
from
That's right. Yep. So.
Kevin Hastings just tested. Said the last time Shelby had a less than 8-win season, 1975.
Wow.
No, 75.
Yes.
It's been a while.
They won 7 games in 1975. Since then, 8 games or more every season.
Unbelievable.
Now there's your call.
Now that tells you something about the program right there. Yeah. So
don't expect this to be a long-term thing, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shelby's not going to make this long.
Once since 1975, I should say. Once since 1975, they've won just 7 games.
Wow.
Every other season in there, they've won 8 or more.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. That's just a testament to the coaching staff there and to the kids too, without a doubt. Ken, North Lincoln High School. We were at North Lincoln yesterday. Gave out the award, first federal football player of the week award, and went to Travali Price. Ken, they call him Trey. Excellent young man.
And you talk about a big young man, only a sophomore. Tim, I was looking at the picture in the Lincoln Herald of the coach.
He's 2 inches taller than Demery.
He and Demery Brewer, and Demery Brewer's a nice-sized young man, and this guy's he's about 6'4". He towered right over.
Every bit of it. Yeah, I'd say flat-footed, 6'4". Maybe if you put shoes on, 6'5.5".
But he had a great game. He had 12 tackles and 2 of them for losses and 2 for sacks. And actually, at the end of the game, picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown. So
there you go.
Outstanding game for him. I know we'll talk a little bit more about in the future about the Coach Basil, but Tim and I were extremely impressed with the energy and enthusiasm that Coach Basil's got in those guys down there. He has really got them fired up and playing.
Yeah, I immediately on the way home, and you was driving home, I called Scott Clonger and told Scott, and Scott, he said, Tim, this guy is a unbelievable football coach. I'm telling you. I would not surprise me if North Lincoln don't make playoffs this year.
Well, we'll see what they do when they get to conference.
Yes.
He's a defensive coach. He's got them playing well. This week they got a tremendous opportunity because they're playing a very, very good team in Alexander Central. And we'll talk about that later on. But they play Alexander Central. Let's put it this way. Alexander Central is 3-0. They've blown out every opponent that they played. In the first game of the season, they blew out Burns, who just beat Shelby 40-7. They blew out Burns. So
wow.
Alexander Central's got a team.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
So that'll be.
And the thing interesting about it, of course, is that's where he coached for 4 years. And he's still got a lot of friends on that staff.
Even I like the comments he was making.
His son is on that staff, so he knows those guys real well. And they're coming down to North Lincoln.
He's there this year.
And so we'll see. But you're right. Like you say, you never know till you hit the football field. But he's a very good team coming down there to play those guys this week.
Absolutely. So Nick Basil's got those boys riding high. Lincoln, they take on East Gaston this weekend. I'm pulling for East. I think Lincoln's going to come away with a big win this week against East Gaston.
And another interesting game is East Lincoln playing North Gaston, who we saw against Lincoln last week. A little surprised that East Lincoln's lost by a pretty handy margin the first 2 games to Forest View and Ashbrook, 2 pretty good programs. But they played North Gaston this week. Let's see if their East Lincoln defense was supposed to be their strength this year can hold North Gaston in check. Lincoln did last week, and see if East Lincoln get their first win this week against North Gaston.
And the Trevor Ironman, they take on Drone Wildcats this week as well. So, but yeah, that's
that should be maybe another victory for
Eastern. You can't lose again. They got to win.
Yeah,
and Lincoln's got to win too. Both them teams got to win this week.
They need to pick up a win. So we'll see where it goes from here. But interesting start to the 2018 high school football season.
Can shift gears to NASCAR right quick. Brad Kozlowski won the Bojangles 500 in Darlington. Joey Logano finished second, Ken. And so that makes Harvick with 7 wins, Busch, and you got Mark Truex Jr. I mean, all those guys are just dominating races this year. But Kozlowski, you better watch out for him. He's liable to stink up and beat them all.
Yeah, well, and what matters is getting in the chase, and then who's got the best team going down the stretch to win the championship.
Ain't no doubt about that. So a little bit of racing news there for you. All right, folks, coming up next, we're going to jump into some NFL football. Kenny, I know you're excited about the Panthers this year.
I am. I can't wait to get started.
You're listening to Classic 4 Studio right here at WCSL. Tim Johnson and Kenny Link right here on 92.3 FM and Addison Johnson on 1590. We'll be back after these messages right here from our fine sponsors.
It's a community station.
Carolina Country, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, WCSL Cherryville.
Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper.
Cleveland County Fair?
Carolina Country, WCSL.
Cleveland County Fair?
Sorry, it's the end of September, right?
Yeah, sometime in September.
The end of September and
Toward the end of September.
the beginning of November, like the end of October.
Saturday, September 15th.
I think it's
September 15th.
Proceeds benefit the Backpack Food Program Incorporated. The King's
That's Apple
Mountain
Festival.
Theater
It goes to Halloween, doesn't it?
October 5th, 6th.
I can't remember exactly when it is.
Tickets available
Very-
online.
October 5th, 6th, 7th, 13th, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what's
First
brought
off,
to you by the
first
What's
week in
Up Shopper.
October.
Carolina Country, WCSL, 1590 AM and 92.3 FM. The Boss, WOHS, 1390 AM and 101.5 FM. And WLON, 1050 AM and
Can't come out of break.
107.5 FM. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
They've got them all at Renato Automall in Shelby. They've got Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, Toyotas, Nissans, Hondas, Kias, GMC trucks, and more. What are we talking about? We're talking about the huge used car selection at Renato Automall. Before you buy, come see Renato Automall in Shelby.
Kevin
and
and
they
them
are now your
is on
SUV
WCSL.
headquarters.
They're not on
With 50 to choose
WHS.
from. New and
They're on
used,
WLON
all makes,
and
all models,
WCSL.
and 10 to choose from.
So that explains why that
at Renato Automall.
I got you.
Charlie Brown's on
23
8.
Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at
That is confusing because it says the Boss and usually that's on both.
I thought he was on all the stations.
Karen and Jordan invite you to come in.
On Saturday morning.
Compare
They're only
their
on
services
on
with the best
WCSL,
of all.
Cherville, and
Compare their
Lincoln.
prices. From a tune-up
Much as they talk about Cleveland County teams.
I didn't know. Listen, I didn't know this on WCSL. I swear.
Well, I knew this was on WCSL. I didn't know this was on the other end.
They're on WLON. Because when I heard that, I asked Calvin. Calvin said, "Yeah, they're on WCSL and WLON." I said, "That makes sense."
Sellers Service Center. Some tax services hire
I just want to make sure I wouldn't hear anything. But yeah, start this Saturday from 8 to 11. Charlie Brown on WHS. It's just, I guess, his first time doing it.
Okay, they probably had something else on there, some other programming. I got you. That makes sense.
They're there year-round, open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Wouldn't you rather have experience on your side? See AccuTrol Income Tax Service.
Got 2 more.
Who's that talking?
That's Milton Baker. He does a swap shop. He's funny as hell. Milton's a trip. Yeah, listen.
He's been at the radio station a long time.
Yeah.
There's a new Kubota for every job, every
Long
harvest,
time.
every task.
He does the swap shop in the morning.
Yeah.
He does it all on his shops. Helps Calvin out in the mornings.
He does all the Cherville baseball games. He does everything Cherville. Him and Danny Aker. Milton does everything.
Legion game, everything.
Legion games, everything.
Whether
You
you're
seen it.
moving tons of earth or just
Little
cutting your
short
lawn, Kubota will never let you down. And check out their zero-turn mowers with decks from 42 to 60 inches. The Kubota Z-Series can handle any terrain. See the lineup today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive at the Highway 745 Woodrow Road intersection in Kings Mountain.
Cherryville Ironman Sports, right here on the coast.
Okay, we're back here on the Best in Sports show here on a Wednesday afternoon. Ken Link, Tim Johnson, and Addison Johnson here with us today as we talk about sports. We're going to transition into the NFL as the opening week of the season is this week, and there's a lot of big games going on. There's a big game that'll be going on. We're going to talk a lot about here in a few minutes. The Cowboys opening up against these Panthers down in Charlotte this Sunday afternoon. It is a nationally televised game. 4:25 is a unusual start time here in this area, and Tim and I will be bringing you some reports on that. But we'll be talking about a preview of that and some analysis and predictions here. But first of all, some other NFL news. Khalil Mack in a big trade traded from Oakland to the Chicago Bears, and I think Oakland, some of the things they got back in the deal was 2 first-round draft picks. So you got Gruden there at Oakland. I think he's looking to the future. And you know, a team like Cleveland's looking for the present. They want to win now, and Chicago, they're trying to build. They had a pretty good defense last year, and they're trying to build, but they broke the bank to pay Khalil Mack a huge contract. So that was a big trade.
One of the best linebackers in the NFL right now, actually.
Oh yeah, I mean he definitely is a talented player.
Very dominant.
Yeah, him and Luke Kuechly, without a doubt, 2 top, and Sean Lee when Sean's on the field. Those 3 right there are the top. You know, without a doubt, top 3 linebackers in football. I'd say Khalil Mack and Luke is the top 2.
I would. You know, one defense that I was looking at that's going to be really good this year, I think, so would be the Denver Broncos getting Nick Chubb. Not Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb. And they got
NC State.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb from NC State on one side, and then you got Von Miller on the other side.
Well, you know Miller's taking him under his wing without a doubt and teaching him.
Yeah. And then they got, you know, the secondary veterans like, you know, what's his name? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Used to play for the Patriots.
Yep.
And then he went to the Broncos.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, or he helped them get to a Super Bowl with the Patriots, and then went to the Broncos. And the Broncos, I think they won a Super Bowl with him at defense, safety, or defensive back. But yeah, I agree with you. Denver's defense would definitely be better, but who's going to be behind the center? That's the key, Ken. They don't have a quarterback.
Case Keenum.
No, well,
Case Keenum he's going to be starting quarterback.
Well,
he's not bad.
I don't know about that.
They got somebody there, but we wonder how effective they're going to be. Let me hit some sort of more NFL news. This is sort of a off the field type thing. Colin Kaepernick has just signed an endorsement deal with Nike. He's going to be used to do some of their Just Do It ads. And when that was announced by Nike yesterday, Tim, Nike stock dropped 4%, a loss of $3.75 billion in stock value.
That was a smart move, wasn't it?
So, well, you know, you're starting to wonder what. Now, here's the other thing. Nike is the one that's got their swoosh on every uniform in the NFL. They're part of providing that for NFL. It's almost like they're spitting in the eyes of the owners.
You know what?
By doing this, really.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So is the NFL going to take their logo off? Is
well,
that what you're getting at?
We'll see. You know, the owners.
We'll see how they respond.
The owners, they're probably not happy about it. Now, I don't know what Goodell's going to say, but I bet the owner's not happy about this.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good analogy there, Ken. That's not. I hadn't thought about that. You know, yeah, you're right. The Nike logo's on all the NFL uniforms. So, you know, the owners and stuff like that. Are they boycotting him? I mean, are they just? I mean, he's definitely good enough to play in the NFL. He's a backup quarterback. I don't think he's starting quarterback.
Well,
now.
Here's the thing. Now, is he good enough to play in the NFL? Yeah, he's a backup quarterback. But let's don't act like he was some great star. He was never. He had one good year.
Half a year.
Yeah, half a year. He's not he's known for kneeling for the anthem. But Tim, we know he did other things. He wore socks depicting police officers as pigs.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't he have pigs on his socks?
Oh, yeah, he did. He also wore a shirt with Fidel Castro on it.
He did.
So he's done some things that's been sort of distasteful besides this anthem stuff. So if somebody said he's not a guy that's like clean of everything. He's not an Arthur Ashe like Arthur Ashe was in tennis.
Sure.
He's a different kind of guy.
Sure.
So interesting what Nike done. I guess they're counting on maybe the younger population, maybe 35 and under, and maybe just to be honest with you, some of the liberal population of this country, which will look at it as law. You know, we don't like Trump, so we'll go out and buy some more Nike to support Nike since they putting him out there. I mean, that's probably some thoughts, but I got news for you. People are on the social media now, videos, burning their shoes, burning their shirts. I'm talking about the Nike gear and saying we'll never buy another piece of Nike gear.
Now, let me ask you a question. What did Trump say exactly? He came out with a comment. What did he say about it?
Well, he said he didn't think it was a good decision, but
on the part of Nike.
Yeah, but Nike's, you know, Nike. I mean, it's their business. They can make any kind of business decision they want to. He said, as far as I think it's a bad decision they've made, but it's up to them. You know.
Yeah. Aston, you wear Nikes.
Mm-hmm. I don't see it as that. You know, I like their brand. I don't see it as someone who represents. I mean, LeBron represents Nike. Kobe represents Nike. Kevin Durant represents Nike.
They stand for the national anthem.
Well, they believe in their own. They believe in their own thing, and they want to stand for what they want to stand for. But
But every one of those guys you mentioned, Addison, they're stars. Yeah. This guy wasn't a superstar.
No, he's not. Yeah, LeBron James.
I mean, really.
Two of the greatest basketball players ever. You can't say that about this guy.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. He was a superstar. I mean, it's a different situation to put him out there like that because he is not a star. You might say you really believe in what he's about and what he stands for. He wasn't a star on the field.
And people question why did Nike sign Colin Kaepernick, and then they're just doing it for publicity.
Oh yeah, it's all about that. They obviously I assume they
so far
looked at it and they think
they lost billions of dollars.
Think it's a good business decision. We'll see how it turns out. But as I say, I think the owner's not going to be happy.
I saw Calvin Hastings showed me a thing where Michael Jordan had pulled out of Nike. I think he said something about where he pulled out of Nike, or he had asked me. Calvin asked me. He said, "Tim, do you think that's true?" And or by looking at it, if Michael Jordan pulls out.
I hadn't heard that. So
that's big.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
He just showed me a thing where it's like I don't know if it was just where it scrolled down or somewhere or another where it showed said Michael Jordan had a comment or something other. If that's true, if Jordan comes out of it, Nike's done.
What?
He put Nike.
Well, like I say, that's what you're comparing. Like Addison was calling superstar names.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
Kaepernick is not a superstar in the sport he plays. He never was.
No. He should have came out and said something. Hey, look, guys, I'm standing up for these young black people or being shot and stuff like that, or even white people, young white people. Don't just make it all about, make it more anybody, young white people being shot, in self-defense or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd come out and said something like that and said, hey, I love my veterans. He never did that. He never said anything like that. He never came out and made any kind of speech whatsoever.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. I just thought that very interesting, and like I said, the stock market didn't like it, so we'll see whether it rebounded a little bit today or not. But it had a big drop in the price of Nike.
Well, I'm really disappointed in Nike. I mean, I know Phil Knight owns the company of Nike, but I'm really shocked that he's the founder. Yeah, he's the man. So I'm kind of shocked that that came out about Colin Kaepernick. That's big news, Ken. Like you said. To lose 3.75 billion,
not millions,
billion in stock value. Yeah. That's what my wife was telling me last night, where she saw on a Facebook some kind of thing where it said Nike had already lost that much. And it's funny too. One of her friends had texted her something, or said that something about kneeling. He said, "Hey, does Phil Knight kneel for the national anthem, or does he stand for the national anthem?" Talking about Nike.
Well, that's where you're going to get the tough questions when they come out and they endorse somebody like this.
And he's endorsing him, without a doubt. Yeah, commercials too.
But back to the on field, Tim. We got some football that's going to be played on the field this week. And what's our way? All right,
we got to get the bet out of the way. So what's our bet here? What's our way? Now I'm not a big betting man. I want you to know that. But it don't look like the Cowboys are going to get Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas, I saw on ESPN that came in as breaking news that he's going to report to Seattle.
Yeah, the Cowboys offered the second round, and Seattle said that ain't enough.
No, that ain't enough. So he's going to be reporting to Seattle for practice. So Don't look like he's getting him. If they do, it'll be next year.
I wouldn't bet if I was you.
So what we gonna bet here, Ken? You gotta wear a cowboy hat. A big old cowboy hat. And I gotta take a picture of you and Jerry Jones together.
It's gotta be pink. It's
Y'all,
gotta be pink.
And you gotta have your arm around him too. You gotta be smiling real big.
Alright, and for the next Wednesday, if the Cowboys lose, you have to wear a Luke Kuechly jersey.
There you go.
I like I like Luke Kuechly.
No,
I'm
not
a fan.
Kuechly.
He's one of my favorite football players.
Cam. Make him wear Cam.
Cam Newton.
No.
Say, I knew that would get it if you had to wear Cam.
Can't do it. Can't do it. All right, I tell you what. All right, I got a Jason Witten jersey. And we got to get a Cam Newton jersey. I'll wear a Cam next Wednesday. You wear Jason Witten if Cowboys win. Is that cool?
That sounds good to me.
All right. You gonna wear it to the football stadium?
No, you can't. Can't do that. Can't do that. We'll get kicked out. You know that.
We'll get kicked out.
We will. I mean, seriously, we'll get kicked out.
Well, I'll tell you one faithful Cowboy fan, by gosh, that would not take it off. That's Kevin Hastings.
And guess what? You had to go out and watch it on TV?
Yeah. And we still won the game. We still won the game. See, Kevin, I take my hat off to you, man. That's pretty good, man.
Now let's talk about some of the games this week we got going on. We got the Steelers and the Browns, which I think will be a key game this year. I mean, this week.
Where they play at? Where at?
They're playing at the Browns.
At the Browns?
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at Ben Roethlisberger's home and away, percentages for how he does and how he plays, there's a big difference. He does really well at home.
I'm picking the Steelers to win that game. Is Le'Veon in camp? Is he playing?
From what I heard, that is Le'Veon is going to be. It's going to be an iffy if he plays or not, because they're having contract.
If he plays, they're going to win. If he don't play, Browns will win.
But even if he plays or not, it's going to be a contract. It's everything with his contract is up, and he does not want to play at Pittsburgh anymore.
No, he's done.
He does not want to play at Pittsburgh anymore, which I hate to say that, but he's one of the best running backs in the league.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. He's top 3 back without a doubt.
Good. But it's kind of one reason I picked this to be one of the games of the week is. The Browns had all these big moves in the offseason. They picked up Jarvis Landry.
Is he going to work for him? Pay off?
Well, he led the league last year in receptions. He's a great receiver. He's very underrated. But the thing is, he has not played with a good quarterback his whole thing at Miami because Ryan Tannehill gets hurt, and that's something new to me because the next game I was going to talk about would be the Titans and Dolphins. Will Ryan Tannehill stay healthy this season? And if he does. How would the season end up?
I'll pick the Titans to win that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, Titans, they got 2 running backs that are really good. Derrick Henry, and they just got Deion Lewis from New England. Big trade there. And it'd be interesting to see how Deion Lewis does. Well, who will be the starting back? I figured, since Derrick Henry's big, he's a good running back, I figured he'd be getting all the goal line touches, and they'll be running, Deion Lewis on 3rd down for the passing game. Be interesting to see.
Well, how about let's evaluate the let's see who plays. Who's the next big game?
Next big game, I would have to say either the Jaguars, the Giants, or the Texans and the Patriots.
Let's go Jaguars and Giants. That's interesting. You got a great defense.
And Jalen Ramsey has never matched up against Odell Beckham.
What do you think, Kenny? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there's going to be some words said.
I guarantee
there's going to be some words said.
What do you think, Ken?
I'd go with Jacksonville because of their defense. I mean, that's an interesting matchup. That's an interesting matchup. But overall, Jacksonville defense is very strong.
Well, the Giants have revamped their defense, and they just got Eli is going to have his number 1 target, Odell, and then you got Saquon.
Well, they got a tight end's pretty good too.
Well, he's in concussion protocol. It's an if he plays or not, which I hope he does suit up.
Where do they play at?
They're playing at New York. Which I think he will suit up. But the thing is, it's interesting to see how much their offense changes because they got, a number 1 running back, Saquon Barkley. Which, he's going to get a lot of touches during the game, but, let's see how he does in the passing game. He's, I think he'll get about 60,
Who you got on that
targets.
Giants?
67
Jaguars?
I got Jaguars.
Jaguars?
I got the Giants. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout game anyway. It could go anyway, but I think, the margin of differential will probably be like 4 or 5 points.
I'm taking Jaguars. I think their defense. I think Eli will throw an interception or 2.
Well, that's
he's known for interceptions.
Yeah, that's no doubt. He'll throw. He might have more interceptions this year than touchdowns.
If he puts it anywhere near of the defensive hands, it's gone. It's big.
It's not just Jalen Ramsey. You got AJ Boye is a great quarterback.
Yeah,
and he's actually projected to do better than Jalen.
Tony Romo picked Jacksonville to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, you know.
I want to go, but I know their defense.
Good for Tony. How many Super Bowls he played in? Okay, cool.
Well, he would know. He wouldn't know, right?
He's a great. Hey, he might be broadcasting that game. We should might talk to him. All right. The next big game we got: Texans and Patriots.
Oh, Patriots.
I picked the Patriots, but the thing is, Patriots. You know, Edelman's suspended 4 games. They just got rid of Amendola, which you know Tom's going to play, of course. But the thing is, they defensive wise, Texans got J.J. Watt back. We'll see how he does. You know, they got Marcellus as the linebacker. He's really good. You also got Clowney. And their secondary is kind of suspect, but you know they're great defense overall.
I think that game will be closer than you think. I think the Patriots will get better as the season goes on, but they got some question marks now on defense and wide receiver core.
Yeah, last year that game was really close because you know Deshaun Watson, a very underrated quarterback last year, but nobody was expecting how good he was going to do. But you know, hey, he comes off that injury. We're going to see how good he is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, their offensive line is not what it needs to be. I think the pre-regular season rankings, they have them almost 31st or 32nd. So it's kind of hard to say if I would take Deshaun Watson winning that game.
The big game of the day is, of course, is Dallas at Carolina.
Yeah.
So Ken, what does Carolina have to do to win that game?
Stop Zeke.
They need to stop Zeke, but they need to take advantage of all those weapons they have on offense. This way I look at the game, just trying to be objective with it. Zeke Elliott is a tremendous weapon.
He's Hall of Fame running back. If he can make it.
But after that weapon on offense, I think Cowboys are lacking as far as weapons on offense, as far as playmakers. They are. Wide receiver core is very. A bunch of no names under. Really,
they are.
Well, you lost your tight end Witten. You starting a guy who was only caught 9 passes total in the NFL. You lost. I know Dez Bryant. That you think that wasn't that's addition by loss.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
But what I'm saying, they don't have a lot of proven receiving core. Now we know about the Cowboys' offensive line. But we know the center is out. They're all-pro center, Frederick.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them.
Yeah, Frederick, they did not put him on IR either. They're thinking he'll be back soon.
Well, they're hoping.
They need him. They don't hope. They need him to come
And so
back.
you're starting a guy at center who's a veteran, been there for a while.
He's pretty good.
But hadn't started the game since 2016.
He's not Frederick, though. That's what you're saying.
Guess who he's against? Dante Poe is right there waiting on him for now.
But the key matchup for that game is going to be Luke Kuechly and Ezekiel Elliott. It's just going to say who can do better that game. Whichever defense does better is going to win the game.
Now on the defensive side for the Cowboys, the one guy that is the weapon that concerns me is DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, he is a tremendous passer. I think Gregory's probably not in good shape yet. He's probably not as good as he's going to be later on in the season. Now the linebackers, how about your linebacker that was your rookie last year so good? Is he going to play? I heard he's banged up.
Who are you talking about?
The guy, the Van, whatever his name
is.
Yeah,
he'll suit up. He'll play, but he's not going to start. Yeah, but this is his first year. He's a rookie, so he's still got a ways to go. But linebacker wise, we're special.
But then
Jalen Smith. He's all pro. I'm telling you, this guy is back to the Notre Dame.
He's not all pro. He could be.
He will be.
He could be. But don't make him all pro. He hasn't done anything right now. But the cornerbacks, the defensive backfield is a little bit like the Panthers. They're really young. Well, Panthers got some young guys, but they got some better.
What's that one cornerback you were talking about that did really good in preseason? That Dallas was really high.
Awuzie. Yeah, he's good.
Awuzie.
Yeah. Now here's what. Now listen, Ken. I think the matchup, I disagree with you. I don't think it's Luke. Well, on Dallas's offense, it's going to be Luke trying to stop Zeke. I agree with you there. But I tell you, the matchup on Dallas's defense has got me worried. It's the safety. What's his name? He's hurt. He's out.
You got to back up safety.
Robinson's going to be in there. Tyree Robinson, I believe it is.
Yeah, you got to back up safety.
He's going to be in there. And you got Jeff Heath. Jeff Heath, You know, he's a good boy. I love it when they talk about Jeff Heath, this and that and everything.
He won the game against Raiders last time.
Oh, my gosh. Jeff Heath is nothing. Listen, I can play safety as well as Jeff Heath can. Probably, maybe tackle better than him. Anyway.
You're making me feel good, Tim.
That's worse, man. That's got more. But listen, here's where I think Dallas is gonna really shine. Besides their linebackers, that defensive line, they are deep. I mean, they are deep at defensive line. They're gonna be fresh all day long, and they're gonna
put
be
pressure on anybody.
absolutely. They're gonna put pressure on Cam all day. If Cam makes mistakes, you know, if he makes mistakes, I think Dallas defense will win that game. Now here's another thing. But kicker Dan Bailey, he's not in with Dallas no more. They cut a All-Pro kicker who was a captain.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And got a guy who. Listen, can you imagine, Ken, what I'm going to be like with say 15 seconds left in a game? Dallas is on the 35-yard line, and here comes a kicker who's never kicked in the NFL before in his life.
Yeah.
Well,
pressure. Yeah.
And I wouldn't knock it as far as, you know, they don't have any receivers.
You smile.
I wouldn't knock it as far as they don't have any receivers.
But they're improving.
But Allen Hurns, don't get me wrong, he's had 1,000 yards, 10 touchdown season.
He has.
He's not over.
And Cole Beasley is going to be be Jason Witten to Dak Prescott what he was to Tony Romo.
I understand.
And I think they'll throw the ball a lot more to Zeke.
Listen,
this year.
there you go. You just hit the nail on the head.
They're going to throw the ball a lot to Zeke.
Who's going to cover Zeke? Who's going to cover Cole Beasley?
Kuechly's going to be on Zeke.
Okay.
Kuechly and Thompson.
Okay. Who's going to cover Cole Beasley in the slot?
The strong safety. The free safety will stay back.
And Michael Gallup.
Look, they're going to put 8
Well, those are names, but like I say, they don't scare me.
Gallup don't scare me.
They don't scare me at all.
Zeke scares me, and Hurns is all right. He's mediocre.
Like I say, Zeke, Elliott, and Marcus Lawrence are the two weapons, one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side. The rest of them don't get me too worried.
I'm going to say Greg.
Now, I'm not saying the Panthers are going to go in there and blow them. I'm just saying, if you look, I think Dallas has got more question marks than the Panthers. Now, the Panthers had some injury on that offensive line.
I think I know what.
But they're going, and they had a player, had a receiver go down yesterday, Tim, not with a football injury, but illegal heartbeat.
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel, and he did a procedure. He will not play this week. Hopefully he'll be fine, and
next week they'll probably
go whatever. But this is like Cam or not, this is the most weapons Cam has ever had
since he came into the league.
Since he came into the league, as far as receiving core and running back.
And this is the best defense Dallas has had since 2003.
Well, we'll see what they did.
I'm serious.
We'll see.
I don't want to go as far.
We'll see. I mean, I don't
secondary is very slim.
Well, their secondary.
I mean, when I look at what the Panthers got, you got McCaffrey, which they're going to use. Got a.
He's going to get 25 targets again.
Coordinator's going to actually use him this year. You have backed up by Anderson, who's an excellent running back,
goal line running back,
and then their draft pick Moore is an excellent receiver. Their receiving core is they'll miss Samuel, but it's not a big deal because they got a lot of good receivers.
And look to see a lot of little bit of wheel routes for McCaffrey because he's going to be one-on-one with a linebacker. And
here's the thing that makes me most confident. You got an offensive coordinator this year that knows a little bit about what he's doing, adjusting, making adjustments, getting the ball to the playmakers to make things happen. Panthers have not had that in 5 or 6 years.
Kenny, knock out some baseball for us before we go right quick. We got about 5 minutes.
Well, in baseball, first let's hit the American League real quick. It's pretty much a settled deal. Boston is going to win the East. They're 8.5 over the Yankees. Cleveland's going to win the Central, and Houston's going to win the West, and Oakland's going to be back there. So Yankees and Oakland's going to be your wild card teams. Okay. Seattle, which is 9 games back in the West, had a little bit of disharmony. They had a fight in the clubhouse Tuesday prior to the game versus Baltimore. I guess the tempers were boiling over or something. They got into it. In the National League, you had the Atlanta Braves leading Philly by 3 games. Atlanta, Tim, just lost a heartbreaker today to Boston. They had a 7-1 lead and had an 8-7 lead still in the 9th inning when Boston hit a 2-run homer and ended up winning that game
7-1 lead.
Blew a 7-1 game and lost 9-8 to Boston.
Wow.
But they have still a 3-game lead going into that game today. In the Central, the Cubs lead Milwaukee. They're 3 back, and St. Louis is 4.5 back. Now, in the West, Colorado leads the Dodgers by 0.5 game, and Arizona 1.5. Tim, you got 8 teams in the National League fighting for 5 playoff berths. Somebody's going to get left out. Right now, if it started today, the playoff teams are Milwaukee and St. Louis. So you got 8 teams fighting in there, and I don't know how it's going to come out. I really don't.
So
all of them got a chance.
So Atlantic had a 7-1 lead, Ken, and it ended up getting beat 9-8.
9-8.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So I want, you know, if you have a league like that, you scratch your head and you think to yourself, how in the world can you get beat?
Yeah, and against Boston, you know, a good team Boston beat them yesterday 5-1, and that'd been a good win for them if they could have beat Boston today.
It would have been.
They were not able to do it. So that's it's coming down, Tim. There's only like 22, 23, 24 games left. You got 1 month left in the season, so it's coming right down. Like I say, the American League decided, the National League is wide open.
So give me a score this weekend on the Cowboys and Panthers game. Give me a score.
Panthers 24, Cowboys 16.
24-16.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna say Cowboys. Cowboys 27, Panthers 24. They're gonna win by a field goal, and the new kicker for the Cowboys is gonna be the hero, Ken.
Okay, you'll be happy if he is.
You better. So will Jason Garrett, because if he misses that field goal, he might be fired before he gets out of Charlotte.
Might be.
Well, folks, want to thank you for tuning in to WCSL here on 92.3 on the FM station and 1590 on the AM station. Tim Johnson, Ken Lee, and our guest host today, Mr. Addison Johnson. We'll see you guys here next week. Y'all have a great week, and thanks for tuning in.
Carolina Country, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, WCSL Cherryville.
You are invited. Invited to the grand reopening of All Care Insurance Services, formerly Pregame Insurance Agency, 220 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. I'm Calvin Hastings, and I'd like you to join the boss this Thursday.